Welcome to the doghouse. Hope you're all having a great day today. As usual, I am. This is going to be about narcissists justifying lies. Yes, all of us know narcissists in our lives. Some are what I'd call barely crossing the line, and there's some that's well over crossing the line. A narcissist has to get you to believe what they want. A narcissist thinks he is right 100% of the time. You are not right unless they tell you you're right. And that really is the truth. Now, I'm going to get into some narcissistic attitudes that they have. Hi, Tam. Uh, some of the things that phrases they say, and they really mean these too, by the way. You are too sensitive. A narcissist loves that word, "you're too sensitive," because it's kind of a deflection. More than not, it's them with the problem, and they're willing to deflect. Hi, John. Doing good, John. I hope you had a great Christmas, and thank you. Narcissist has to overcome the truth so he can make a lie out of it. And him telling you you're sensitive is a step in that direction. Another thing they'll say is that never happened. How many times have you seen a narcissist in your lifetime that is one thing they love to say, that never happened? Even though it happened, they have turned it into a lie or a truth, even though in their eyes it's a truth, I should say. When they know it happened, but they got to make sure you don't think they know it happened. Sounds stupid, but that's their logic. It didn't happen. It happened my way. Everyone agrees with me. How many of you out there have heard that? Everybody agrees with me. Everybody in town agrees with me. It's sad, but it's the truth. Narcissists think that everybody agrees with them and nobody disagrees with them. And when you do disagree with them, you're in the wrong and they're automatically in the right. Never think for a minute that you'll ever be in the right in a narcissist view. Other things they say, that will never happen, like I said. Everyone agrees with me. So now everybody is agreeing with you. Nobody can disagree with you. If they disagree with you, they are wrong. But everyone agrees with me. Other things, I guess I am just the bad guy, right? I hear this even on here, a few people or a certain person. They will say, I guess I am just that bad guy, right? I've heard people around here even say that. That is a narcissistic saying. These I looked up because I knew some of them. I wasn't quite sure about others or why, but I needed to get a more view for myself on this stuff. And, everybody agrees with me. That never happened. I guess I am just the bad guy, right? How many of you have heard that? I know some of that I'm repeating, but I want people to understand some of this that's out there and why it's out there. Why are you attacking me? It's everybody's fault. He can attack or she can attack. Nobody can attack. They can attack you, but you can't attack them. So, they're saying out there, why are you attacking me when it's totally opposite? A narcissist works in a way of reversing everything. They think they have to reverse. Damn cough. You know, it's just in their mind, and they believe it. That's the sad thing of it is some of this stuff they really believe. Yeah, some they make up and don't believe, but some of this stuff deep down in their heart, that is in their mind. These are real sayings to them. You're crazy is another one. If you don't agree with them, that you're crazy will come out all the time. You're crazy. You're crazy. And once again, it's kind of a reverse saying with a narcissist. It's them reflecting up on themselves because they hate themselves. A narcissist really does, deep down inside, hate himself, in my opinion. And other things that happen, and I looked this up to the point I knew it happened, but I don't know why or the meaning behind it. It was a spotlight syndrome. It's a real syndrome narcissists use. And the spotlight syndrome is when they have to put everything up on themselves to make themselves look good. Spotlight syndrome does exist and will exist. Spotlight syndrome is something that, like I said, I knew it existed, but wasn't quite sure exactly how it correlated with a narcissist. But they have to have the spotlight on them regardless. If they were in a seen a traffic accident, they would put themselves in the spotlight. It was them because they got to do that. Their narcissistic views won't let them do anything else. Another thing they do is they get in this to- toxic love. They think everything they touch is right. So when they fall in love, eventually there's going to be something wrong with that other person, not them. And they will pursue that to no end to prove to people they are right and this other person is wrong. That's a toxic love. And for whatever reason, a lot of times when this happens, the other person will fall for it, the other partner. It don't matter whether it's a male or female, the other opposite person will fall for it. And pretty soon they're making them look like they're the bad person. They're in the wrong. If you just listen to me, everything would be fine. This is a real deal that they do. Another thing, and it's very, very interesting, is delusion of grandeur. Like you got to put yourself out in front. You're this great guy or woman. Nobody can even come close to touching you because you are in the right, they are not. And the grandeur is a bad thing in itself. To some point, most people can have that, but that's not the same as when you're a narcissist, the way you use it. It's all about me. Certain words that a narcissist will use will be me, I did it, it was me, I did not do that. It was the other person's fault. These are sayings that are real, and people say that are narcissists and delusion of grandeur. When you're delusion of grandeur, and you put this stuff out, you're all, even though it's a lie, you're telling yourself the lie to make it the truth. Exact. Oh, trying to excuse for a validation. In other words, they will make a validation and they will make an excuse. And this is the one I looked up because I know it's the same thing as I'm saying, but this is more in the terms of using the excuses for validation is the same as trying to make up a lie and making it true. Hi, how are you doing out there? Hope you're having a great day, Heather. And I hope you guys did too. Every one of you had a great holiday. But at some point, a person with narcissistic views will have to go at it heavy and hard to prove their point. And that's what I was getting about a narcissist will tell a lie. Why they do that, they have to somehow figure out how they can turn their lie into a truth. And once they turn it into a truth, it's no more a lie in their mind. And because of that, you cannot convince them that that lie they turned into a truth is still a lie. If they say it, they do it, it's the way it is. That goes back to delusion of grandeur that they're never wrong. Everybody else in life is wrong but the narcissist. We've had presidents that are kind of narcissists, and I'm not talking about one side or the other, it's both. I, me, and we, I, me, I did, and all that comes out in a couple of the presidents. And like I said, it's not one, it's several that do that. Now, all of us, like I said earlier, all of us have this thing, and we always run into a narcissist somewhere in our life or several. I had a boss that was 100% a narcissist. The whole world to him revolved around him and nobody else. If he told somebody it was the right thing and somebody else would say, no, it's this way, he would argue with them because he never thought he was ever in the wrong. Very egotistical person. And I'm sure most of you have wound up running into people like that. I know there's a couple on here we see on here that is definitely a narcissist, but just in your everyday lives that you have actually seen and been around, and we all do it. We all see it. All my life, I've seen people do that, be a narcissist, that's somebody being a narcissist. It will always be there. Everybody will see it, but a narcissist will never see it because he is always right. In his mind, he's not right, but his mind, he is right or she is right. They do not believe they are ever wrong. And that's bad. And it goes back to being in a relationship. If you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you'll never win because they will belittle you, call you names, but you can't call them names. That would be wrong. You get treated like a piece of garbage in, because they are right. They're going to make sure you're never right and they are always right. That is what they do. Can you ever correct that? It's I think it'd be hard for a narcissist to change. Can they change? Yeah, but I bet you if you looked at percentage, it's pretty low. Now, a relationship, a narcissist to me is one of the worst things when it comes to relationship. Hi, Road King. The reason why is if you're in a relationship, it's not one way, it's two ways. I've been I got married when I was like 28, but I've been married to one woman for all these years. Things I'd never do I've never hit her because I don't believe in that. A narcissist may try to do that or push him around or whatever. I never tried to belittle her down. Yes, it happens, but it's not on intentional. A narcissist is doing it intentional. So when you're in a toxic love situation, which a narcissist puts a person in, you can turn that person into whatever you want if you're a narcissist. If they're willing to bow down to you, they will make you feel like a piece of crap. You don't know nothing. Without them, you would never know nothing. It's a shame that people do that, but that's part of being a narcissist. A narcissist just don't tell lies in their eyes. Whatever they say is the truth, and they are the ones telling the truth. All you other people out there are lying about the truth. A narcissist can never comprehend what the real truth is. They'll say truths here and there, but they cannot comprehend it because they're so involved in changing lies into truths. Yeah, they are. The narcissist is always the victim. Whatever situation it is, they're a victim. I seen a car, and it was legit. A person on here from Otter Creek showed a car flipping right by him. It wasn't on him or anything like that, but he become the victim. That was interesting. But narcissists do that. It could have nothing to do with them, but all of a sudden they are the victim. When you're the victim, you get to be out front telling your story, which usually is a story, not the truth. But you get to be out front when you become a victim. Spotlight syndrome, that's part of it too. You're out there with the spotlight's got to be on you. Even if you have to tell a lie, a narcissist will find a way to put the spotlight on himself. He don't care about spouses or anything else. It's all about them. I'm just reading this. You're right, Robert. That's exactly what they believe. And they'll make excuses up to validate what is wrong. Not that they're right. And it goes back to them trying to justify a lie. Hi, Bonnie. That is where it's so sad about a narcissist. I know you can't do nothing with them, but in my heart, I wish that would never happen. Maybe I'm too nice a guy, I don't know. I just don't like to see that happen. I realize it does happen. Uh, My one boss, I'd avoid him. I was going above him to the guy that was actually the manager, and he was assistant manager for years. When the manager retired, the owners of the proper or place I work would never put him in as manager. And this guy that was a narcissist, who was the boss, he used to want the manager to fire me constantly. But there was no way that was going to happen because the manager owned these trucks that was bringing in the potatoes, which had nothing to do with the company itself. They was his trucks, and I was keeping an eye on him for him, and he knew what was going on with him. So there was no way this guy was going to get rid of me. All that did, though, in one way, is make him come up with more excuses why I was the bad person, not him. There used to be truck drivers come in to pick up loads, get all he'd get all pissy with him because he didn't like him, and they have chased him into the office where he had to lock himself in the office, all because he was a narcissist. You know, and it's hard when you work around people like that. When you see them on here, you just see them on here. You can relate to them, but the ones you relate to, you will remember. I guess, and on here too, you'll remember some of them. But how many of you sat there and would allow a narcissist, if he was involved, do do the toxic love thing where he put you down, was going to make fun of you or her? It's just not right, and it does happen. And the guy on here, we see that all the time with him. And these things I'm saying, actually, most of them would resemble him himself. You know, and I didn't realize it. I've heard it, the "you are too sensitive" thing. I did not realize that that was part of a narcissist's view. For whatever reason, I've always skipped over that, but I'm glad I went back and researched it a little bit. Now I know they say that. I've heard him say it, but I didn't correlate it with him being a narcissist. Yes, I've heard it on here from a certain person. Like I said, I've heard most of this stuff on here. "You're crazy." I've heard that a lot. You, spotlight syndrome is the one that gets me, though. I know it existed, but I didn't really know there was an exact saying for it. So sometimes you go out and do some research and you find stuff that's pretty interesting. And I mean, sometimes you got to look in more one place because sometimes you get on the internet, you get somebody's personal views out there and not the real meaning. So sometimes you have to go the extra step. And another thing, and I've heard a person on here say this more than once: "Why are you attacking me? Why are you attacking me?" Let's see. Maybe it's the other way around. Narcissists flipping things around so they get to be who they are, a narcissist. And it's amazing that they will turn something that's a lie into a truth. And in their mind, it is the truth then. Before that, yeah, it's a lie. That is true, Robert. They do. I mean, I'm just reading what Robert put on here. That is true. That's another part of it. Very much so. And that's the problem. If you're just saying words, that's one thing, but the actions do speak louder than the words. And I've always said that, even on some of my podcasts. People with words is one thing, but actions are what you really look at. And some of this, some people are what I've been on here with, put these into action. That's part of the problem. Yes, Road King, they do get exposed. Unfortunately, sometimes it takes a while for people to get exposed that do that. And what I mean by that, most people can detect a narcissist, except a narcissist. But eventually, you look what they're doing, they will expose themselves. And I'm sure, some of the followers of certain people Eventually, we'll see it, but maybe it's too late by then. It's sad that it happens. You know, when as we all go joke around, though, with friends and family, was like, "Well, I'm the best. You're wrong. I'm always right." That's different. You know, we're out there joking around. I used to always say that to I'm number 10 for my mom, or number 9 for my mom as far as kids go. So 8 people above me, well, and 2 a stepsister and a half brother and half sister. So I made sure I was known. It all had to do with the family, not being a narcissist. You know, it's kind of funny what a narcissist does, though, and how much they really believe in what they're doing. Some don't. Some vary it just because to make other people happy. But a full blown narcissist wants you to know that he's number one and he's going to stay number one. If he has to run over you, whether you're related to him or not, they'll do it because they're not going to take a back seat to anybody. A narcissist just can't do that. Yeah, and that's true. You listen to a narcissist, he'll tell you several different stories about the same thing. I was just reading some things Road King said, and it will crumble. At some point, it will crumble. People are going to realize what's going on, and it will crumble. Some people are easy can detect it easier than others. Otherwise, you couldn't get people to follow. Yes, I agree with you, Robert. But yeah, how, and it goes back, whether it's family members, people you worked with, people you've been around, you can detect a narcissist. The sad thing is, a narcissist usually can't detect itself, which makes it really bad. I wish they would change, but that's wishful thinking on my part. Maybe I am that too nice a guy or naive guy, want the world to be a better place. Maybe maybe that's true, but I do recognize the narcissist. You know, I don't politicians, they gotta be some of the worst. And I'm not talking about a party, I mean individuals. And it don't matter what party they are on. They there's narcissists out there. There's narcissists down the street. There's so many narcissists out there, but the one on here is the one in the spotlight. Yes, I agree with you, Bonnie. We need I know it's not im I know it's impossible, but I always wish for the best for everyone. And I know that's can't be at this point in time. You know, and we've seen a certain person on here with his girlfriend use that toxic love, and that's what it seems to be by his words that has come out and what he has said to his other half. Not what I'm saying, but what he has said. And it's so sad that we have to go through and see people like that. Yes, we can turn it off, but sometimes when the narcissist goes after other people really need to stand up and really, and that happened in Otter Creek with John and Lynette. People stood up for them, all because of a narcissist. And it isn't only an, and these are my opinions, but the narcissist also got money from using that. My opinion, I'm not saying he is a narcissist. That's what it looks like to me. But he don't deny it either. But that's just because of what's on here. But in real life, you look around and they're all over. We see it day in and day out around us. And I'm from Idaho, and the part of Idaho I am is pretty conservative for the most part, but that don't matter to a narcissist. You can be as conservative or as liberal as you want. They don't care. A narcissist has no comprehension in that regards. A narcissist to me, and this is my opinion, hates himself more than he hates anybody else, but he can't let people know how much he hates himself or herself. It can be either way, and I've seen it both ways. No, and your beliefs don't matter to a narcissist because a narcissist is always right and you're always wrong unless you agree with him. Then you're right. Kind of funny how that works, ain't it? But how many of you, just over your years, have seen, other than right here on here, have seen narcissists around your area? It's kind of interesting because sometimes when you, yeah, right, Bonnie, they don't, your opinions don't mean nothing to them unless you agree with them. Yeah, a politician, that's very common. And like I said, I'm not here politically one way or other because it does happen on both sides. And if you're honest with yourself in politics, if you're honest what's going on, you'll see it on both sides. I'm not here to say one side or the other. I'm just saying what's out there. We've had a couple here in the state of Idaho that's been really narcissistic views on things. I'm just reading. It's true, a narcissist never does anything wrong. It's everybody else. And that is true, they never do nothing wrong in their eyes, and they always will too. And I think some of these, if you really looked into some of these that go out and do evils in the world with other people, a lot of these are narcissists too. Because when they get caught doing things, it was always the other person's fault. And that's on the high level, but it happens. It's never their fault even then. So sometimes I think some of them that get convicted of crimes have a narcissistic view of things. Highlight within. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you had a great Christmas. It's kind of funny though, because I see it on here, and the reason I see it on here, and I'll admit, when I first turned it on, I liked the storage auctions and stuff. I always thought most of it probably was staged. I didn't know that and still don't know that, but that was my view on a lot of that. But then when the child got involved, I already thought he was narcissistic then. But when the child got involved and things happened, it become to me a little bit more prevalent. And like I said, these are my opinions, not his, not my viewers. His, my opinion. I wished I was wrong. Yeah, the internet sure have changed. Hell, when I was going to school, computers, we couldn't use computers, we couldn't use calculators. There was no such thing as these little computers when I graduated. The computers they had back then in the late 70s take up a whole damn room. But we've gotten out there so far on computers and that now, you can do more research. And like I said earlier, sometimes you have to do two or three because people will put their opinions on there that's not factual. But the good part about it is we can go on there and have more knowledge than what we ever had. That's true, Robert. You can be brave in their minds or the person doing it. You know, I'm on here. I tell you, that's my real name. I'm on here. I'm not. I wouldn't hide that. And there's a difference. I'm 65, so some things younger people do, and there's nothing wrong with younger people. I get along great with them. Is younger people are a little bit more timid in going out there and saying who and that they are. I'm 65 and I don't give a damn if somebody knows my name or not. Maybe that's harsh to say, but it's the truth. It don't matter to me. I I get on here and do this stuff. I do that, like I said, this narcissist stuff really bothers me. It always has. I mean, I'll admit it always has. It sets me off bad when I've always seen it. And it's funny, get on the old thing. That's like on one of my shorts, and I do a whole lot more shorts than I do coming on here. Uh, the guy was trying to insult me this morning is something I said, called me an old man. Oh, I remember what it was. It was one on there that about, uh, I'm not afraid to say Merry Christmas and n not Happy Holidays. He accused me and nobody's ever said that. Called me an old man, and I didn't know that I was making things up. I just had to respond to him. I'm glad that I'm an old man. Road King, you are right. It does. You get so who cares? Well, Bonnie, I tried to tell my wife I'm going in reverse like Mork and Mindy, and she wouldn't let me. She said, "That's not a real show. You can't do that." Poor me. And I'll tell you the truth, though, I don't want to be younger. I don't want to go back. There's things I wish I'd done different, as anybody would, but I ain't going back. And I see this certain person, younger people that got on here and gets threatened by him, backs off because they're trying to be liked by everybody, and you can't. You you know, I've never been liked 100% by anybody. I've never was bullied or anything in school. I really wasn't. But there was always somebody, even that small place I grew up in, that didn't like you. But the majority of people do like me. I'm not saying that narcissistically, but that's what they say. To me, I just go on. If I run across somebody that don't like me, I just ignore it. Go to the next thing. I care less. I've always thought, yeah, you like me or not, whatever. I'm not changing my life to suit you. And most of us are that way. You get older, maybe it gets a little worse. That is true, Tam Tam. I really don't care. I mean, there's a difference between not caring and noticing people that do like you, but you really don't care. You're going to say what you need to say and say it how you want to say it and move on. I go to the truck stop almost every morning for coffee. Most people there like me. The waitresses, for the most part, like me. There may be one or two that's disgusted with me, and one of them's because I'm more positive than anything else, and they hate it. They don't hate me per se, but they hate the idea what I stand for and being positive most of the time. Yeah. Hi, Demon Cat. Yeah, I mean, how you can't get away from narcissism. It will be there for the rest of our lives. You can control who you like that does that or who you don't like by not involving yourself. Like on here a little different, but if they're your neighbors and you don't like each other, a narcissist will go after you. A person that's not a narcissist will back off and ignore you because they don't care if you like them or not. A narcissist, one of the biggest problem is you have to like them. It's not a choice with them. You have to like them or you're a piece of crap. In their eyes, there's only two ways to go about this. I guarantee you I was a poor kid. I mean, I had food on the table all the time. I loved my parents. We weren't abused. And we relied not on the grocery store because that was about 30 miles away or 20 some. And where I went to junior high and high school was 50 miles from the house one way. That's because the school bus would go in and out. But it was a 50-mile, that's 100 miles on a bus every day. I I love small towns, and I think that's part of why Otter Creek caught my eye is because of the small town. W and when you're from a small town, and some people don't get this, but when you're from a smaller town and you see something going on, it automatically sticks in your head. I left at 19, but that didn't matter. To this day, that stuff still sticks into your head. Of course, I raised on a ranch, so it's out in the middle of nowhere, literally in the middle of nowhere, and loved it. And I hate snow now, and it's snowing today, and I can't stand snow now. But as a kid, the guy that owned the place would go get me a bunch of 22 shells, and I'd go out and shoot jackrabbits all day, wander through the snow. It didn't matter. Boy, now it's it matters. Yeah, sometimes even relatives that can be narcissists. They'll do some of the dumbest things in the world, and that's true. I mean, they'll go out and do some of the idiotic stuff, whether they mean to or not, they do it. We all do it to a point, but I remember when my wife and I first got married. Now, my mother-in-law didn't really care for me. She despised me because my wife had a 8-year-old. But the only reason she despised me is how come how she always wound up with all these stepdads that were really, really bad, and you could never get that out of her head. But and this isn't funny, but it's funny. After all the year I would never go to their house and have a holiday dinner with them, or my father-in-law or mother-in-law, and the reason being, she tried to dictate to what was going on, that wasn't happening, and she would invite my wife's ex-husband over for dinner. She actually, when they got a divorce, my mother-in-law let my wife's ex-husband go live with them. That was interesting. But, you know, in the long run, though, I never stopped my wife from doing anything she wanted with her at all because that was her. Yeah, when my mother-in-law got Alzheimer's, then she always tried to get me to go move in her basement. That really happened. She wanted me to move in it was an underground house, and they built up on top of it as they got money, but she wanted me to move in the basement house. And I can't say she was a narcissist. Hers was more a mental thing of what happened to her, and I kinda paid for that, but that's fine. But I'm her uncle was definitely a narcissist, big time narcissist. And I got along with him, but he was a narcissist. And all of us run into that situation at times. It's not interesting, really, what happens to us as a human being in our lives. And in our lives, we run into a narcissist on a constant basis, I begin to think. I'm just reading some of this stuff on here. I graduated high school, proud of it. My graduating class was 56 seniors. Of course, I went to junior high and high school in a town that was the first city in the world to be lit by atomic energy. That's Arco, Idaho. Yeah, we all have to be strong. I went through a lot with her. And like I said, and the bad thing was, it wasn't bad. There was 7 siblings there, and all but one would defend me against their mom. That kinda made it worse, but, we survived. It wasn't that she wouldn't talk to us or me. Well, and I'd go down there, but not on holidays. Go down, talk to them, and for the sake of my wife, and it all worked out. My wife spent 2 years after my mother-in-law got Alzheimer's, and that's about 25 miles away from here. And I said, "Why don't" they had a meeting because her mom still wanted to be home. And I said, "Why don't you have Darlene go down? Uh, she can take care of her, then she can come back on the home." And the one sister that was over everything didn't like it because she really didn't care for me and I didn't care for her. But then later on, she said, "Oh, yeah, that's a good idea," once she figured out. So my wife went down there Monday through Friday. She'd leave at 5 o'clock on Sunday. Usually didn't get back here until 6 or 7 on Saturday. One of her other siblings do the weekends. And I'd do that again, and it was my idea for her to do that. But, you have to go through a lot in life. One thing you have to do is take a look around you and, and notice things like the narcissist and what they do. You have to realize that, well, I'm going to get off of here. I got to go do an errand for my wife, and I hope you all have a great, great night. Hope to see you again, and I appreciate you for coming on here. I appreciate it. And I hope you all did have a great, great Christmas. I love seeing y'all on here, even though I don't make sense most of the time, but oh well. And family is very important, regardless of what's going on. Never give up on your family. Night, Tam Tam.